Welcome to Attunement with Courtney O'Keefe. I am your host, Courtney. Today, we are going to be going over the Solar Plexus Chakra in our mini lesson. This is actually one of my favorite chakras. I feel like I've done the most work on this one, and I'm really excited to get into it. We're going to go over an overview, imbalances, personal stories of my own imbalance. Then we're going to talk about rituals and activities that can help you balance, what balance feels like, and then we're going to close it out with some affirmations like we've done in the past. So let's get into it. The solar plexus chakra is the third chakra in the system. It is the last of what are considered the lower chakras in the body, and it's located in the upper abdomen above your navel, like mid-back area. The themes of this chakra are identity, self-worth, and personal power. The solar plexus is where our ego lives. It drives our authenticity and gives us purpose. It's very much like your inner fire where your dreams live. It is related to our self-esteem and personal power. It gives us drive and motivation. It also is where we take action and transform with life's changes. Physically, it governs over our digestive system, running the system that helps physically fuel us and make us strong. It also governs over our sense of sight. The element associated with the solar plexus is fire, and it is represented by the color yellow. So let's dive into what imbalance looks like. Imbalance in our solar plexus has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself and your purpose. An overactive solar plexus, you will find that your ego totally gets the best of you. It can feel like a need to control or dominate situations, being derailed by an obsession with perfection, quick to anger, which comes with intense bouts of productivity without being able to maintain a sense of sustained motivation. In turn, an underactive symptoms of our solar plexus is blocked or stagnant, really impacts our self-worth, and it takes a huge hit, and you can feel it in feeling powerless or insignificant in yourself, out of touch with your authentic self, difficulty when making decisions, or an inability to express yourself. You may feel as though you have no guiding light, or that the obstacles to your dreams feel too big to overcome in an underactive solar plexus. Let's talk a little bit about the mental and emotional symptoms here. The overall imbalance of this chakra can lead to a rocky sense of self, which leads to low self-esteem, obsessive perfectionism, which we talked about, lack of purpose, feelings of insecurity, inability to be your authentic self, trouble making decisions, feelings of victimhood is big here, and controlling or overly ambitious in situations. Now let's dive into what physical symptoms can look like in this chakra. Again, I always preface I'm not a doctor. So if you're feeling intense symptoms like these and you feel like you need to see a professional, go do it. These are just things I like to reflect on. Since the solar plexus governs our gut, most of the physical manifestations of imbalance result in digestive issues here. So indigestion, acid reflux, elimination issues, nausea, bloating or belly pain, and diabetes is also associated with the solar plexus. So now that we've talked about all those imbalances, I want to get into my own personal stories and journey here. Again, I believe a lot of your experiences stem from childhood. A lot of my beliefs and patterns are here that I have been unlearning. So I'll share some of those with you here. A lot of my self-worth journey has been directly tied to my achievements. This could also be a Capricorn moon thing. So if you have a lot of Capricorn in your chart, you may resonate a lot with what I have to say, because I have always felt like if I wasn't achieving something, then I was not worthy. So let's dive into overactive examples that I have. Perfectionism has always been an issue for me. Not as much now, but I'm going to talk a little bit about like my past growing up, and especially in school. Needing to be perfect was everything for me, needing to be the best at everything. I was only really ever praised as a child when I was doing something good or achieving something, which made me feel like my achievements were my identity. Like, let me just list some of my achievements for you that like were my identity as a child and in school. I made the varsity dance team as a freshman in high school, and that was like the biggest deal. I joined the National Honor Society. I mostly got straight A's. I remember I got a C once, and I like remember getting in trouble. Like it was a big deal. And I have a very specific memory that ties my worth to my achievements. Oh, it's 10:25 when I was saying that. That is my higher self. She's like, "Yes, girl." I can't remember exactly what grade it was, but I was in middle school, and I remember one night my mom was checking in on me to see if I had done some of my schoolwork. And I had a book report that was due the next day, but it wasn't just a book report. It was like a huge presentation. I had to create like a board, and I literally had none of it done. And I remember my parents being so upset with me. And my mom proceeded to do the entire project for me. She did the entire project, created my board. I was like tracing things that she had put on there. She was telling me what to do. And I remember feeling so much shame in that moment and realizing that failure was never an option for me. That if I failed, I was not worthy. And I tied my worth directly to my accomplishments. And I feel like it started from there because that is like a huge memory for me. And I needed good grades to be loved and feel seen in my family, is what I felt like. And this bled throughout all of my school years. I was always overachieving, doing the most in school. I was leading school projects, picking up slack when people may have dropped the ball on something. I led design clubs. I joined the exec committee in my sorority in college. And I was just constantly trying to impress everyone because I thought that was the thing that made me worthy. So that was like most of my childhood growing up. I was just constantly trying to achieve things to feel seen. And that became my identity, my accomplishments. And current ways that I display control or domination over situations that I am working on, and I'm going to get vulnerable here because this is reality and this is something that I'm actively working on, is loosening the reins around the aspect of parenting. I have a very wounded inner child who has a lot of anger, specifically associated with the way I was parented. And I am in this process of like reparenting myself and releasing this anger that I hold inside of me. That Chris and I have had many discussions around the fact that I need to loosen my reins when it comes to butting into his parenting moments. Like, we both need to experience parenting in our own different ways with our children. And I sometimes, my inner child comes up with all this anger, and I have this need to control situations, and I'm slowly trying to shift out of that. So that is one way that my solar plexus gets overactive now. And I am trying to loosen the reins on that now. Another way that can bleed into is like the housework. Let me know if you relate to this, especially as a mom. I am trying to constantly control like how the towels are folded, or like different ways I fold laundry, or like how I clean up the kids' toys. Like if Chris doesn't put things away the right way, that like really bothers me. And one way that I am loosening the reins on that is I am letting the kids fold their own laundry. Do their drawers look like a disaster? Absolutely. And if people come in my home, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, sorry about the kids' drawers. I let them put their own laundry away." And I'm trying not to be controlling and go in there and fix things because I want them to know that, like, it's okay to not be perfect. And I want them to learn that Harper also did her, like, first ever presentation for a kindergarten enrichment class. And I was helping her with the poster, and I had to release control and let her not color in all the bubble letters if she didn't want to. And like my inner perfectionist was like, "Oh my God, we need to color everything in. It needs to be perfect." But I let her do her thing and released my own grip on what perfectionism is because I want her to feel worthy no matter what she does. So it's interesting being a parent and trying to help your kids realize that they are worthy through everything. when I did not feel that way. So that is something that I am constantly working on, is control and perfectionism, because that was such a huge thing for me growing up. So those are some overactive examples. Underactive examples. I spent a lot of my life with an underactive solar plexus chakra, honestly, until like 5 years ago. Whenever I would shine my light too brightly as a child, it would get squashed. So I learned to close off my solar plexus as I got older and as I grew up, because I never wanted to fully share my authentic self because it triggered people. I was told as a kid that I was too much or too loud or too kind, especially like too extra. It wasn't told that way back then, but like that was the vibes that were given off to me. I was too much in general. And it caused me to box up different parts of myself. I compartmentalized my personality and only opened certain boxes around certain people who I was with to make people feel comfortable with me. And that's honestly really sad when I look back at it, and I understand why I did it, but I never gave myself enough thought or time as to who I really was in this life, because most of my life I was told who or what to be. And that is awful. And I never want my kids to feel that way. And I always felt like things were happening to me, not for me, and that I had no control over anything. I obviously don't feel that way now, but in the past, that's how I felt. And victimhood felt completely normal to me. I was always a victim. I had no self worth, and I would let people walk all over me. As I started to work on my self worth and my identity and my personal power, and realized that I was worthy no matter what I was accomplishing or not accomplishing, I started to open up my solar plexus space, and I started to shine my light, and I started to share my thoughts and my dreams more openly. And one thing that I noticed is that when you share your inner fire, you will trigger unhealed people. Your inner light will intimidate those who are not open to their own light. I noticed that the people around me changed as I started to realize that I was worthy of better. A lot of it was inner narrative. As I started to change the way that I talked about myself, the outer world around me changed. I started treating myself better, and the people around me either started to dissipate and clear out of my life, or they grew with me. And that was beautiful to experience. Was it really hard at the time? Absolutely. And I think a lot of times when you start to work on your solar plexus, you really see change in the outside world. Your inner world creates your outer reality. And this is a good thing to reflect on, like right now. How are you talking poorly about yourself, and how can you change that today? Or where are you lacking boundaries? Where are you not showing up as yourself? Because as you start to make those small shifts and changes, things in your life will change. And it's so beautiful. And I'm going to share a little bit more about my personal experiences in the rituals and activities that can help balance the chakra, because I do have some good nuggets to share in there too. So let's get into that. Ways to help this area of your life. Any sort of ritual with fire is so fun and super helpful in the solar plexus area. You can burn things that you want to let go of, whether those are like physical things from, like, let's say ex-boyfriends, ex-partners, I don't know, ex-friends. If you have things of theirs and you want to burn them to like help cut the cords or move on, that is really good. Flame meditations, like candle flame meditations where you stare at a flame, are super transformative. Sounds weird and woo-woo, but don't knock it till you try it. And either just like enjoying a bonfire, or if it's winter, being inside with a fire, just the element of fire is really good for your solar plexus. Soaking up the sun, light codes. This is huge. Light codes, I talked a little bit about on my Instagram actually this past week. And if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm at Able Alchemy. I talk about light codes. I love light codes so much. It is energetic messages that you can receive through the sun or meditations, music, high vibration frequencies that contain energetic messages that help light your fire within and help you align with your dreams. It's truly so beautiful. So, anytime you can sit in the sun provides so much healing. Do it. Decluttering is huge. Clearing out your space, energetic and physical. You can create new space for your dreams and manifestations just by getting rid of old clothes, old junk in your house that you don't want anymore. It energetically clears not only your physical space, but internally. Seriously, it makes a huge shift. Like, try the exercise taking 10 minutes a day to declutter your house. It will be life changing, I swear. I need to do this more, by the way. Listening and honoring your gut, because your solar plexus controls your digestive system and your gut. Doing gut work is really good for the solar plexus. If you feel disconnected from your intuition, take time and feel into your body. How does your body feel around certain people, places, or things? What is your body trying to tell you? Your body is an intelligent software and knows more than your analytical brain can tell you. Take time to slow down and feel into your gut space and see what it is trying to tell you. That may sound weird at first, but the more you practice this and you feel into your body and see what it's trying to tell you, because your body and your emotions are your intuition, really feel into it. You can make huge shifts and changes just by listening to what your body is trying to tell you. Eating healthy to nurture your gut is also huge. Taking probiotics, eating fruits and vegetables, specifically yellow ones like bananas, lemons, pineapple, like ginger and turmeric spices are really good for your gut health. Building your core strength, taking strength training classes, like, or doing something more unconventional like rollerblading or rock climbing. Anything you can do to stabilize and strengthen your core is also very good for your solar plexus, your strength, your core. That's very powerful, and it can make you feel powerful and step into a more confident version of yourself. Okay, this is where I'm going to get into another little personal story. Doing activities that make you feel brave or build your self confidence is huge for your solar plexus. And I'm going to give like a little story time example with this. Last year in November, I went on a yoga retreat by myself. I have never done anything like this before. I knew people who were going on the retreat, but I physically booked this trip, solo room by myself. I've never done anything like that in my life. So this was kind of scary for me, going on a trip by myself and meeting new people and stepping into a full long weekend where I wasn't with a group of people who I knew, and doing this experience with was really scary to me. I cannot even begin to describe how transformational that experience was for me and how much it leveled up my solar plexus space. I actually pulled out my notebook from that trip to share some of the aha moments I had just from being there by myself. And this group of women who own this company, I'm going to have on later in the season, but they're rare soul retreats, Rachel and Allie. They are magical humans and their business is magical. And I did a retreat with them in Tulum. And some of the activities, meditations, and they use Reiki a lot in their practice, was so transformative for me. And I just have to share how this leveled me up. They did an exercise in this trip where you had to reflect on things that people said about you that had become core programmings. And I wrote down all of these things. And then they asked you to flip it and write down how you feel about yourself and what you think of yourself. So I'm going to read some of these off because just rereading old journal entries is healing for me. And I think it's super powerful. So some of the things I wrote that people have said about me or programs that I used to have. This is what they are. I am too much was the first one. I am not enough. I can't make money doing art. I am not okay. I can't be happy all the time. I am supposed to heal everyone. I am too loud. I shine too bright. I am a bitch. I hold myself back. I can't have everything I want. And if I do have everything, I am selfish. I can't do it all. People don't like me. I worry what others think. I care too much. I talk over people because I need to feel seen. I don't say what I need. So I remember writing these down and crying. And I'm actually surprised I didn't cry that much right now. I remember it being really transformative. And then Rachel and Allie had talked a little bit about like letting these things go. And we did burn some things actually, which is awesome because it relates to the solar plexus. And then we flipped the script and really looked at ourselves and how do we actually feel about ourselves? And this is what I wrote down. I am creative. I am passionate. I am loyal. I am loving. I am worthy. I am beautiful. I am sexy. I am enough. I am sparkly. I am magical. I am flowy. I am social. I am spiritual. I am intuitive. I am gifted. I am healing. I am intelligent. I am fun. I am energetic. I am smart. And then I wrote my intention for the year. And I didn't know it at the time, but I had wrote this like affirmation for myself, and it has been my guiding light this over the past like few months, this half year. I am an iridescent unicorn, unbothered by shifting energy around me. And I just love that so much. This trip truly like changed my life. I wrote a bunch of other things. I like to journal after I have meditations, either from what I see or what I felt. And I'm going to read one more to you because they did this exercise where you had to envision your higher self. And this is amazing. This is how I envisioned my higher self. And I feel like I'm almost here, which is awesome. I am sparkly like little Courtney. I wear dresses with pride and twirl to put on a show. I am unafraid of what anyone thinks because I am having fun. I giggle and chat to anyone who will listen because what I have to say is important and it matters. Just like little Courtney, my highest self is bold and loud. She is deep and deserving. She is beautiful inside and out. She has so much love to give and so much joy to share with the world. Like little Courtney, I am ready to shine. That's just so beautiful. And I seriously had the best experience being by myself. And oh my God, that doesn't mean I was so scared because I was. And I had very many moments of insecurity on that trip because everyone was in their like group of friends and I was so out of my comfort zone, like meeting new people. And I do have to say, I made the best connections on that trip. Tina, who was on the podcast a few weeks ago, I met her on that trip and it was seriously amazing. And I notice anytime I step out of my comfort zone and be bold and do what I want to do, but like push myself in a good way, because it's things that I really want to do, I level up. And in this experience, this overall experience, I learned that in the solar plexus space, you can love yourself so much that you can get butterflies for yourself. And I literally felt that. And I had this like beautiful experience that like loving yourself unconditionally is what a healed solar plexus can feel like. And it was so beautiful. And I'm sorry I'm like still emotional about it. It's just like really important to me. And I want everyone to feel this way about themselves because it is truly so beautiful because we all deserve to be unconditionally loved. And you can do that for yourself. God, sorry guys. I wasn't expecting to get so emotional about this. Yeah, oh my gosh, this is fun. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll show you this, but I wrote in my journal from this trip, love yourself so much that you get butterflies. Seriously, try to unconditionally love yourself so much that you feel that way. Because it's seriously so beautiful. I feel like I wrote another little good nugget. Let me find it. Okay, here it is. This is another good one that I wrote. When you fully love every part of yourself, you can create softness where your gifts can thrive and you can play. This is a daily practice. Nobody's perfect. And I love that. When you step outside of your comfort zone, you level up. When you surround yourself by unwavering support and love, you can soften and play in your gifts. Anyway, that is my pitch to go on a trip by yourself because it is seriously life-changing. And to piggyback with that into physical symptoms, after I came home from that trip, I had the craziest like digestive symptoms ever, and my body was like recalibrating from everything it learned from my solar plexus opening up so much. I don't get too into the details, but I had like serious digestive issues for like a week after that trip. And I knew it was tied to my solar plexus, and my body needed time to adjust because I had made so many energetic changes within my body during that trip. So yes, is my tip to really step out of your comfort zone and do something crazy like that. Crazy in the best way that you want to do, and invest in yourself because it is so important. Love yourself unconditionally. Again, my last one is journaling. I feel like I'm going to say this about everyone, but journaling centered around self-confidence. If you did not download the free chakra journal that I have on my website, please do it. It is centered around your inner child, and you can reflect on these things of where your programs are, where you may have learned to doubt your self-confidence. Really start to journal around that because you will learn so many things about yourself just by reflecting on the past. Anyway, let's get into what balance looks and feels like. When you move through the world sure of yourself with self-confidence, you can see that your solar plexus is open and balanced. We have and see a clear path ahead. Even if you don't all know all the steps to get there, you know that you are doing what feels right for yourself. And this sense of self cannot be deterred by others or the environment around you because your self-worth isn't in question. We also raise others up because we are working towards a better world for all of us. When you feel confident in yourself, you can start to help others around you. So that's beautiful. It kind of like is a ripple effect. A state of flow feels like having a strong sense of purpose and in flow with your dreams, making achieving them feel and seem inevitable. Motivated by a quiet and powerful strength and warmth within. You just feel confident, and there's this like warmth inside of you. You see challenges as teachable moments and have a fire inside of you to power through any challenge with confidence. It feels like embodied empowerment, making you radiate with strength and ability. It's truly beautiful. Symptoms of harmony. Balancing our solar plexus chakra brings the work that you have done in your root and sacral chakras to fruition. It's the manifestation of coming into your own personal power and true sense of self. So you have confidence, motivation, sense of identity, purpose. You're better at manifesting. You have strength, self-worth, empowerment, and resilience. Let's close this out with some affirmations. If you are someone who likes affirmations, maybe write down your favorite one, put it on your mirror, write it daily in a journal. I believe in myself and my dreams. I am free to take up space and shine brightly. I trust my inner fire to guide me. I am enough. I love myself unconditionally. I am worthy of all good things. Thank you so much for listening, you guys. Sorry I got a little emotional in there. I wasn't expecting that, but seriously, I have done so much work on this center in my body, and this is a really important episode for me. So thank you so much for listening, and join me next week for a mini meditation to dive into this solar plexus space. See you next time. Visit ablealchemy.com to download your free chakra journal and to learn more about Able Alchemy. This is a place where your dreams and reality align through services like tarot and astrology readings, sound bath sessions, and intuitive branding for businesses looking to align with their manifestations and purpose through soul-led studies such as astrology, business energy analysis, and chakra color theory. Follow along with Able Alchemy on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Please rate, review, and subscribe if you enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next time.